welcome to Over the Moony. My name is Katie and today I am very excited to be starting a new series with you called Ranked, where we are going to be ranking all sorts of things. And I thought, you know what, today is a good day for some Harry Potter. So we are going to be ranking the 8 Harry Potter movies. So I am really excited to bring this to you guys. Of course, my opinion is probably going to be different than your opinion, and if that is the case, then that is fine, because that is what makes this fandom so great, is that everyone can appreciate different things, everyone can have different opinions on all of the movies, the characters, all of that good stuff. So of course you're gonna have to let me know down in those comments below what your ranking is for these movies, but for now, let's get started on number 8. So number 8 for me is the first movie, Sorcerer's Stone. I appreciate the first movie, the first book, everything, because of course it has to set up the story, but I started reading and getting into Harry Potter when I was in my 20s. I completely missed the boat when I was younger. So I found the movie and the book to both be a little juvenile for my taste. I mean, it definitely has some more mature elements in there. But for me, for the movie, possible unpopular opinion, I'm not sure, I don't like that first Dumbledore actor. I personally, I know this is very controversial for literally one line in an entire movie series. We all know what I'm talking about. But I like Michael Gambone's portrayal of Dumbledore. I really do. And so, is it Richard Harris? He's just so old and quiet, and I never really got that from Dumbledore as a character in the books. I always found him to be a little bit more vivacious, and like, of course he's old, but he's still able to move around and, you know, obviously fight in battle and all of this stuff. So I just never really liked that Dumbledore. Of course, all of the actors are just so young and stumbling into these characters initially, and so I mean, they're adorable, and the movies, like, don't get me wrong, I'll watch it, but it's not going to be the one that I run to watch if I'm like, I'm really in the mood for Harry Potter, what do I want to watch right now? That's not gonna be it. But I still appreciate it, don't get me wrong. And you know, of course, I love meeting all of the new characters that we get to know for such a long period of time through the rest of the books and movies. So number 7 for me is Deathly Hallows Part, wait for it, 1. So again, don't dislike it. I just find this movie to be very moody and very monotonous. It's a lot of just Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and ultimately Harry and Hermione. And there's a lot of just dead end, dead end, dead end. Let's go to a forest. Let's sit around, let's try to get away from people, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just not, I guess because maybe if I had watched the movies first and then read the books, I would have been a little bit more in suspense because I didn't know what was going to happen. But because I had read the books, I knew what was going to happen. I kind of knew how the cookie was going to crumble. And so I just found that to be not boring, but just a little underwhelming. When you know what's coming and you have to get through all of that to get there, it's just kind of for me. And just like the moody Hermione, the moody Ron, like it's all just a lot. I generally find that I like the beginning of the movie up until the Death Eaters come to the wedding. I like up till then, and then I'm just kind of like, okay, I can check out from this. I don't need anything that's happening. If I'm watching a Deathly Hallows, I'm watching part 2. For number 6, we are going with Chamber of Secrets. So I feel like from 6 and up until number 1, it gets challenging for me because none of these movies I necessarily dislike. Like, I can definitely find things that I don't like in the first 2 movies that we discussed. All of the rest of these movies, it's just like, which one do I like more? So Chamber of Secrets, I really like a lot. Number 1, we get introduced to Gilderoy Lockhart, and the character portrayal of Gilderoy Lockhart in this movie was amazing. And I really, really wish that they would have found a way to continue him into the series, because it's been such a long time since I read the books. I can't remember when they ended up going to St. Mungo's and they stumble upon him. I want to say it's Order of the Phoenix, but I could be completely wrong. I just really like knowing what goes on with him later on, but I just adore him in this movie. I think he's such a clever villain and probably one of my favorite villains in the Harry Potter series, if you even want to call him a villain. He's very smart, obviously. He knows what he's doing. He's a little bumbly, so I don't know that we would really call him a villain per se, but I just adore him. But not only do we get Gilderoy Lockhart, we get my favorite villain in the Harry Potter series, period, end stop, done. The patriarch of my favorite Harry Potter family, don't come at me, villains fan, Lucius freaking Malfoy. Can we just take a moment to like praise Jason Isaacs for his beautiful portrayal of Lucius Malfoy. It is perfection. Like, when I had in my head what this guy looked like, what he sounded like, I was like, this matches. And that didn't happen a lot in the movies with me, but it matched perfectly with Jason Isaacs and my like vision of Lucius in my head. I love him so much. So much. So I adore that. I love how they did this film. I think it's so good. There are so many great scenes, so many great elements. You know, the whole dueling scene between Harry and Draco is really great. And I just think that there's a lot of really good moments in this movie, as well as a lot of great characters in this movie as well. So you cannot go wrong with Chamber of Secrets and Lucius Malfoy. We are on to number 5. This one is Deathly Hallows Part 2. So again, I really enjoy this movie the most of the 2 parts, obviously, because it's ranked higher. What I love about it, and you know, I'm sure that this was a complete money play, that they were just like, we're breaking this up into 2 movies so that we can make the most money as possible. But I love that they gave all of these important moments time to breathe, because I would have been pissed off if I had read these books and then went to go watch Deathly Hallows and it was just like 1 3-hour movie. It's not possible for that to happen. You know, there's just so much stuff that happens in the Deathly Hallows book. It needed 2 movies for sure. And of course, this is like the penultimate sad movie in Harry Potter. I mean, my God, the amount of people that die, the amount of things that happen, it's a struggle to get through, but it's so good, and they did so many of those moments so well. Neville stepping up and really being an amazing Gryffindor. Ron and Hermione's moment. Snape! Freaking Snape! Like that, everything about that was just perfection. Like, I don't watch that movie often just because it is so sad, but every time I watch it, I love it. And I love that you get like all of these people coming back together and all of these characters, and it's just like this meeting of amazing characters coming together all at once. Guys, it's so good. I just love it. A great way to end the series for sure. I thought that they did an amazing job with that film. All right, guys, so we are on to number 4, and number 4 is the 4th movie. It is Goblet of Fire. So the action in this movie is so good, and just bringing to life all of these crazy things. The egg with the dragon, the maze, the mer people, like bringing all of this stuff to life and just making it seem so real. The fact that they were able to bring all of these fantastical elements to life so beautifully, as well as having such a great story, A++. But I mean, hello, if you know me, if you've been sitting here through this whole thing, I think you know where we're going. To the graveyard. That scene, so good. Like, with all of the Death Eaters coming, and just the way that, like, that first appearance of Voldemort and how he just talks to them, and the way that he talks to them, and the way that he talks to Harry, like, it's chill-inducingly good. I shouldn't, like, I can't even. Just his first appearance, his first real introduction as full-formed Voldemort is just so good. I cannot even begin. Like, that whole first sweeping the head with his effervescent cloak thing, like, it is just so good. It's so good. I could watch that scene on repeat forever, honestly. Like, it is just amazing. The way he talks, how psychotic he is, like, but yet so charismatic. Oh my God. I love that scene so much. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna just like reel myself in, because I feel like we can really get derailed, and that could just be like me talking about my favorite scene. We don't need to go down that road. All right, guys, so we're at number 3, and number 3 is The Half-Blood Prince. So I will say that this probably ranks so high for me because of like the silliest of reasons. So when I was reading through the books, I was reading the book and then I was watching the movie, and I would do that the whole way through. And The Half-Blood Prince was the only movie on Comcast that I was not able to just rent. I had to buy it. I fall asleep with the TV on. I would put that movie on to fall asleep to all the time. So I feel like that is probably my most watched Harry Potter movie, and so it has a little bit of a sentimental place in my heart. I like the tone of that movie a lot. I like the coloring on that movie a lot, and I really love Professor Slughorn. Like, is he the greatest? Probably not. He's very Slytherin. Very Slytherin. He is very cunning and very slithery in that he, you know, just puts himself with these people that are successful. I kind of love him. I kind of do. So I really enjoy him. I love the whole scene when Harry's on the Felix Felicis. Like, it just cracks me up. And even the scene when they're in potions and everyone else is trying to get these potions made, and everyone, like, at the end, and their hair is just crazy and they're just covered in stuff and they just look so dejected, and Harry's just glowing and doing a great job and following the Half-Blood Prince's instructions and just, you know, excelling like crazy at potions. I also love the first day when they're going to classes and they're in the hallway and they have a free period and McGonagall calls them over. That whole scene, like, that is so high school. I love the characters in this movie, and, you know, I think that they're at a great age in this movie. Of course, the scene when Snape kills Dumbledore, like, my God, so good. Alan Rickman, R.I.P., just so talented and just so perfect. He was the only person, obviously outside of Daniel Radcliffe, like, I think those were the two people that I really knew, like, okay, this is what Harry Potter looks like in the movies as I'm reading the books. This is what Snape looks and sounds like when I'm reading the books, because I knew him from Love Actually, of course, so I knew his voice, and, you know, you can just get that tempo of how he would speak without even seeing the movies. If you just know Alan Rickman, you know how he's gonna talk. He just did such a beautifully flawless job with Snape. So, so beautiful, and that whole scene and just his face, the emotion coming out of him, so freaking good. The whole tone of that film is just beautiful. All right, guys, so we are at number 2. It is Order of the Phoenix. So this movie gets a little bit of a bump because of a couple of reasons. Reason number 1, I know that I've said this like 1,000 times pretty much anytime I'm talking about Harry Potter anything. Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite book. I love that book so much. I remember reading it, the whole scene in the Shrieking Shack. I could not stop reading it, and I was getting so angry, and then I was like the emotions that you go through in that scene in the book, incredible. My biggest knock against this movie is that they did not flesh that scene out nearly enough. It was too fast. They didn't give enough detail, so you didn't know all of the backstory and really were able to link so much stuff together. That is my biggest knock against this movie. The rest of it, I love. Also, Lupin is in it. He's my favorite character of ever. I love him. He is my literary boyfriend, and I stand for him forever. Not that I don't think that David Thewlis did a beautiful job with Lupin, because I do. And not that I don't think that Gary Oldman did an amazing job with Sirius, because I do. But I think because they opted to go older with Snape because of Alan Rickman, because he's perfect for that role, of course, they had to skew all of the other actors older, even though they're not supposed to be older. And I don't believe any of those guys are in their 30s. I'm in my 30s. I know what 30s is, and that's not it. That is another small knock, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really bother me all that much. I've gotten very, very used to those characters, but I think just because I hold Lupin so close to my heart, and because, like I said, he is my literary boyfriend, I had such a different view and a different image of him in my mind than what they portrayed in the film, which is fine. But anyway, the movie, I really like it. I think that they did a really cool job with so many different things in that movie. A lot of the different scenes. I love how they did the Marauders map. Like the actual imagery of the Marauders map is just such an iconic piece of Harry Potter fandom. So many of the scenes are great. I love the scenes between Lupin and Snape, and just how like you can tell that there's something there, even though they don't really delve into it very much until a little bit later. But you can definitely tell that there's some animosity there from Snape to Lupin, and there's some sort of history there. Like you can really just get that from their interactions, and Snape's just little like when Lupin stands up at the dinner. I love Buckbeak. Buckbeak is one of my favorite magical creatures, and I thought that they brought him to life beautifully. And I just love, there's just so many different elements in that film that are just so wonderful, and how they brought to life so many different things, and the guessing game and the suspense and everything. I don't think it's as good as it could have been, which is why it's not my number one, but it's still pretty darn good. All right guys, so if you've been keeping track, then you probably know what my number one is. And my number one is Order of the Phoenix. Why do I like this movie so much? Let me tell you. I really enjoy the book a lot. Don't get me wrong, I love the book, but the book is so angsty and so many pages of just capital letters, Harry yelling at everyone, freaking out at everyone about everything. I like that this movie is still able to capture a lot of that angst, but not make it so prevalent, and not make it so much of the focal point of the movie, and that there's so many lighthearted things that are going on to kind of keep this movie from being as heavy as the book kind of is, if that makes sense. Just the tone, and you know, they keep that first, man, I want to even say like 3/4 of the movie. There's a lot of crappy things that are happening, but there's still like this air of lightness to it with the music, with the way that they go about, especially like one of my favorite sequences in this entire film series is when Umbridge gets promoted and she's doing all of the inspections with all of the different professors. And you know, when she goes and she's talking to Snape, he's like, oh, so you wanted to be the teacher for defense against the dark arts? And he says yes, and she says, and that didn't work out? And he says, obviously. Like, I love the whole sequence with the music. Just everything about that sequence is my favorite. I love it so much. And then of course the big battle at the end, and just every Lupin holding back Harry after Sirius goes through that curtain. Ugh, my heart, it hurts every single time I watch that. Like, that's such a tough, heartbreaking scene to watch, and it should be. And then I really love the dialogue with Harry and Dumbledore, like at the end, about like, you know, I know what you're going through, no you don't, all of that stuff. Like, it's just very poignant, and it's very, very well done, and it really keeps a lot of the heaviness at bay so well throughout the entire film. And then when it comes crashing down on you, I feel like it has so much more of an impact on you, because they've kind of kept you away from it a little bit, and then we just kind of roll right into the heavy. Like, you just like fall flat on it, and man, it's so good. And of course, we can't let anything slip by where we don't acknowledge the debut of my favorite female character in this entire series, Luna freaking Lovegood, played by Evanna Lynch, flawlessly, period. My God, she might be up there. Like, if I'm just going on just like basic like actor portrayal favorites, Snape, Alan Rickman, obvious number one. Evanna Lynch, Luna Lovegood, number two, pretty darn close to number one. She does such a great job of having her be so, I don't even know what the word, just so like airy, and but like not forced. Like, I just feel like this fit her, and I know that she came into this as a huge Potterhead anyway, but like, she just does such a good job, guys, such a good job, and I just love that for her. Love that journey for her. Okay, well, If that doesn't say that that is the end of this video, I don't know what does. Streaky has deemed it so. We are done because she needs attention. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this ranked series, and I'm super excited to be coming out with some more videos for you for my ranked series. I have some ideas, but of course, if you have any ideas of things that you want to see ranked here on my channel, then please, please, please let me know. If you want more Harry Potter content in your life, if you want to just keep on binging a bunch of Harry Potter stuff, because today is a great day to do that, I'm gonna leave a link up above to my Harry Potter playlist so you can just go ahead and check out all of my Harry Potter content, and definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. New videos are posted here on my channel every Monday and Thursday, so you will stay up to date on every single new video that comes out. Like I said, definitely let me know your rankings in the comments down below, because I'm so curious to know how the movies line up in your eyes. If we have any of the same top 8s, I would be so curious to know, because we'd be just like the most kindred spirits of life. And if you enjoyed this video and cannot wait for more of the ranked series to come your way, then please feel free to give this video a big thumbs up so that I know that you guys are pumped to see the rest. So guys, that is everything that I have for you guys for today. So thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.